Welcome out to Tackle Trading's Trade Masters. This is Coach Matt. I got two amazing coaches with me, Coach Bobby and Coach Frank, to dial in some awesome trade ideas. And that's what we do every single Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we dial in some great trade ideas. We also put them in our Traders Report every single Friday in the Traders Report with the Tackle Trading newsletter. So definitely, if you love these picks, you love trading picks in general, sign up for a free trial of Tackle Trading in the link in the description below. Come join us in the awesome community called Tackle Trading. You will not regret it. Plus, it's free. Who doesn't like free? Get yourself a free trial. Test it. You don't like it? No harm, no foul. I'm willing to bet you love it. With that said, let's bring in Coach Bobby and Frank. How you guys doing today? Let's start with Bobby. Bobby, what's up, buddy?
How's it going? I'm happy to be back for another week. I think me and Frank tied it up, 1-1. I won the first one, he won the second one, and we'll see what happens on to this week.
In wrestling, they
All
call
right.
that the rubber match, right? So
We do call that the rubber match. Yes. 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 Frankie, what's up, bro? How you doing?
So excited to be back here. Excited for next week or two. Everybody at Tackle Trading knows this about me. We're in the heart of earnings season. I get a little grumpy in the heart of earnings season. But the show must go on. I'm not that grumpy. I'm just more grumpy than usual, right?
Yeah, that is a little bit accurate. Yes, you are a little bit grumpy, but then again, I think you're grumpy like this second week of every single earnings season. Like
This is my least favorite week of earnings season.
But you know what, Frankie? We only got a week left before we get through the Mag 7. And the thing about the market is right now is I kind of feel like we're seeing a little bit of calm before the storm here. And just a quick word on the market itself. The market really has improved its technical structure over the course of the last 3 days. Even in downward pressures in price, it doesn't mean you're not seeing a good technical side of the equation. And you're really kind of dialing in this 6,800 zone. And what's really interesting about the stock market right now, guys, is it's just kind of hesitating right underneath a very, very clean and a very well-known resistance level. You go over to the NASDAQ. Oh, and guess what, guys? You're going to see the exact same picture here. Almost a little bit tiny cup and handle-ish here,
Yeah.
Frankie. If you increase support right there at 25,000, going into a clean breakout. The markets are developing in a bullish pattern at the top end of the cycle. You look at the weekly charts. Weekly charts are all high base, clean, waiting to break out. And the only thing we're really kind of waiting on, and we navigate this together as a team every single day, is that catalyst. Are we going to find a catalyst to break out? We'll have to wait and see on that as we dial in just right underneath that all-time high breakout. And with that said, Frankie, you are the elder statesman here, so you get to choose, especially with that beard. You get to choose exactly who goes first here in round one. Oh, and by the way, for those of you that are finding Trade Masters for the first time, we do 2 rounds, Coach Frank versus Bobby in round one, and then we'll kind of talk about each pick and we'll give our opinions on both of them. It's not exactly a battle royale here. We're all trying to help each other navigate the financial markets here. But with that said, Frankie, who's going first? Who gets the
You know what? I
who
think I
gets
let
the
Bobby
baton?
go first last time, so I'll go first this
All
time.
right. All right. Let's see what
And
you
if I
got.
didn't, well, I'll go first this time anyway.
Round
Bobby.
one. What do you got? What's
So,
pick?
round one, I'm going to go with Walmart. I'm going to go with Walmart. I think you kind of nailed it. We're waiting for that catalyst in the broad market to kind of see the big picture broad move. I think we probably need that. But Walmart's already broken out of a major level of resistance. Not terribly long ago, you kind of talked through this leading into that breakout in this very show, right? So we've already broken out, and now we're kind of getting a secondary development. It broke really aggressively and really fast, right? For Walmart especially. We see plenty of the
Good
YOLO.
volume too, Frankie. Like
Very good
you got
volume.
spikes
Yeah.
on volume on that breakout. You got contraction on volume during the pullback phase. Volume profile looks pretty good on a retracement here.
It very much does. It very much does. And I think, it being Walmart and it moving that aggressively on that initial break, it just kind of left a lot of people behind, right?
Mhm.
You don't expect that type of candle on Walmart as a
Not on
general
Walmart
rule.
all the time.
Not
No.
not on Walmart, but that was a major breakout. You brought up the weekly, so no need to do that again. And now we're just tracking this pullback. And as long as this pullback develops really in one of two places, either where it's currently at the 90 MA, which is why we're talking about it today, or really all the way back down into that 105, 106 level, which is the breakout channel, I think either way, it is a compelling pullback story for us since we are here, right? And we're not talking about the pullback to the actual breakout point, which I do think would be a fun discussion too. I think we're just looking at this as kind of a flag into the 9 EMA and putting those mechanics into place for this bad boy. And I think when you're thinking about Walmart from an entry point of view, I think there's a couple ways you can really think about this guy here. I think aggressively, you could just say, let's just go over today's high. That would be aggressive, and I'm going to make a case not to do that. But I couldn't put up a big fight if somebody was like, yeah, I'm doing that, right? We're coming off of the 9. We tested below it. We rallied very strong off of it. That was rejected completely. So you would expect upward movement follow through based off of what we kind of saw here today. I will argue that we get through the tops from last Friday and this Monday, right? Which is right around 108.25. It costs you a little bit more, but you clear out of everything, right? Today's high is what is that exact number? 107.77. So you're paying about 50 cents for some additional confirmation. And I'll leave that up to the trader. But I said I wouldn't fight too much if somebody said I don't need that extra. I would just come back and be like, it doesn't cost, it's 50 cents on Walmart. It's, in my opinion, worth paying for, regardless of where you land in that side of things. You know, this breakout, you know, that it's coming out, it was basically a big, gigantic cup and handle, right?
Yeah.
And if you think about, you know, cup and handle targeting mechanics, the, you know, kind of that first wave target is into the handle, which is somewhere in the 114 to 115 level, depending on exactly what your range box looks like, right? And so I'm going to call it
Great minds.
115.
I had it at 114. So
yeah, I mean, so it just depends. Like there's a little bit of artistic interpretation there, right? So 114, 115, I got it 115, but it really is kind of that zone that I think is the target that we're looking at. And I do think that is kind of the target that I have in mind, whether it confirms from here or if we pull back all the way into the breakout channel and we kind of have similar development at the 20 and get confirmation at that point in time, 115 will still be kind of the target that I have in mind. I say dealer's choice for in scenarios where I have like a real target, like my real target is 115. I always say dealer's choice for T1. Typically for me, what that means is I ask myself, what do I need? Right? I need to be over 1-to-1 to T1 at all times. I kind of call it low hanging fruit, right? Because that's a management point for me. But really, if you said 111, 112, 113, I would not put up much of a fight.
Honestly, like if personally, I think you're targeting 114 or above.
Yeah, you're
or you're
into
not
that
making the trade. Like,
yes, exactly. You're playing the range from the breakout as a big breakout on good solid volume there. So I'll leave T1 up to what everybody. I don't really. This is one of those scenarios. I am a very, you know, a routine based guy, so I always set 2 targets. But a lot of times,
and I'm
have
not
a real
suggesting you
target.
don't. I'm just
Yes,
suggesting in a flag,
but
because
sometimes
the
you have a real
shallow
target.
depth of the retracement, it's you don't need to target that high. I know you're going to do whatever you do. I'm just saying for people out there, in a flag, you don't always have to target the highs, especially when there's a short distance.
Yeah.
In a deeper retracement, you
You
absolutely
do.
always
Yeah.
target the highs.
You
Like
have to look at that
always
level.
target the highs.
Yep, exactly. So call it what you want. You want a number? I have my number at 112 currently, but like you said, it really is the 114, 115 range that you're
Yeah.
looking at, and everything else is kind of dealer's choice. Assuming that we do kind of confirm from here, I think you have 2 very logical stop loss locations. If we see this upward movement tomorrow and it's enough to get through that 108.25 level, I think we could say under today's low is fine for a stop loss.
Well, especially when, like, do you see this low right here, Frankie?
Yep.
Look at this, like to the penny.
Right up into that same spot.
That's algos, baby. That's
So
algos.
you've
So
got
underneath the lows, it's a good
you've got
stop loss.
support. You would have upward movement to get through resistance. You'd have the 9 EMA. So I think that's a very logical place for a stop loss. If somebody wanted to dip down to the breakout channel, though, down, I
Position
think you can
style.
anchor to the 20, and call it that range. That would be understandable too, in my opinion. I think those are the two places. Like either you kind of anchor to that the algo low, today's low 9 EMA triple play, or you kind of anchor towards the actual breakout channel. And I think either play, I'm going to err on the side of aggressiveness here because it is at the 9 EMA. So I'll err towards kind of looking at the low from Thursday and today for a stop loss. It's Walmart, so
I think that's honestly pretty easy when on the stop loss because, and I know we always want to talk about different levels because there's different traders, right? But when there's, to me, and this is just it really stands out to me when I see double wick bottoms like at the penny, like that just really stands out to me because us humans don't put those in.
No,
That's
it's
algos
not. That's
that
not
put
Bobby
those in.
doing that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so it is not. And strategy wise, I mean, it's Walmart. So anything goes. Shares, long calls. I tend to favor, bull calls as a general rule, but there are going to be lots that you can do within, your preference level and your comfort
Plenty
level.
of time
So,
in earnings too.
yeah, you got
Plenty
plenty
of
of time.
time.
Earnings aren't, right around. I mean, they will be here, but they're not right around the corner.
Yeah, but they're
So
like around Thanksgiving.
they're around Thanksgiving. Yeah. So they're around Thanksgiving. So, long stock, long call, bull call. Heck, I didn't price it out, but if you can get credit under the 50, you could talk me into that.
Good
So
luck on that as Walmart.
yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But that's what I like about Walmart here.
Honestly, Frankie, love the pick. And, obviously I had it on Trade Masters. It was about a month ago now.
Yeah.
Talking about the potential breakout. And, it took a good couple weeks for it to really kind of break out. But man, I just kind of feel like when you look at this on the longer term, yeah, we're talking all short-term mechanics and how to navigate the short-term levels. But you look at this on a weekly chart, how do you
That's
not see last week as a catalyst here?
it.
And in the face of market volatility, market uncertainty, here's Walmart breaking out and hugging the 9 EMA like it's another day that ends in Y.
Yep.
I love the pick here. Bobby, you got your work cut out for you. I am a fan of Walmart.
Absolutely.
So let's see what you got here, buddy. Frankie
Yeah.
stopped the book here on me. So let's see what we got.
Yeah. Walmart's
what's
definitely a
your
good looking stock.
what's
For sure.
your round one pick, Bobby?
Yeah. So I'm going to do another flag. I'm going to do one on here on Micron, MU.
Coach Mark is smiling. I promise you.
He is. He does.
That's why I did. I'm just trying to win him over.
Yeah.
Something for once.
There's my Bobby.
This one here is, I just think, with the whole volatility, what's going on, and it's, holding up within earnings, you do got some players like Tesla tonight. You got some big players tomorrow as well, or actually next week, I mean. So we'll see what happens with the pattern. But for right now, Micron's definitely, I feel like, in a good spot. It's at its all-time high, or it's close to its all-time highs. I think that 214.75 is right there. I think for this one here, you could play it a couple different ways. I think one, you could play it over today's candle, put a stop below today's candle and let it go, or depending on the trader, depending on who wants to get in, you could wait for another candle, let the intraday moving averages come down, settle in, and then you can go over that tomorrow's candle, if you get another doji or an inside candle. So you could play Micron in a couple different ways. I think where it's at here on the chart, right at this flag pattern to the 9, I think it's very constructive. It's very constructive on its intraday. And I think, if you just look at along the long-term charts as well, it's, like I said, it's close to its all-time high, and I think it can do another leg higher, especially ride the wave of some of these other plays, coming towards earnings.
Can I jump in real quick, Bobby?
Yeah.
I'd like to add some thoughts to you and Frankie when you guys are doing your things, when I see things. And just from an educator perspective, I just taught master trader. You guys are going to have to forgive me. It's right.
It's possible you're still teaching it.
I still have the hat on. There's no doubt about that. All day long, I've been looking at stocks. Let me teach you something. Let me teach you something. Yeah, whenever you're dealing with flags, okay, you're going to want to find that angle on the intraday side. right? That angle that's coming down, because that's the real resistance level you're working with. And so you look at the top level, connect, 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 and you got a solid trend line here. Now, what you would like to see here is one more day in development so that basically this trend line converges with the development of the pattern at support. And then once it breaks out of the trend line, that's your trigger mechanism. And this one, the only flaw in this one was a little bit of volatility today due to the NASDAQ, but just wanted to add that trend line conversation on the flag there, Bobby.
No, absolutely. I think that's a good talking point, especially, where this is sitting, like you said, another day would would be beneficial. But, if someone was wanting to get in tomorrow, right at the open, prep it tonight, I think you still can, get in, like I said, put a entry above today's candle and, stop below. This one's in a definitely, like I was mentioning, it's in a good spot. I think you can either go, debit or credit, on this as a strategy. I know Micron's on the higher end of the IV. So, probably for me, I would probably favor more the credit side, but, I wouldn't be opposed to going, more the debit side, like I said, another inside candle, go over that top there, stop just below the entry or below that
Are you thinking
tomorrow's
bull
candle.
put?
Thinking of bull put about, I'm thinking about the 170, 165 or 165, 160.
Let's find a support level we like there. Like, did you say 160?
Yeah, I said 165, 160.
65, like either one's great. Like the volatility here is you're going to get paid. And the thing about that volatility right now, dealing with a little bit of a dip, you can maximize range here.
You can get under that 9 weekly. That's
Yeah.
always going to feel good.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
Plus that 165, 160 contract here, that's a 15 delta contract. You sell that 15 delta contract, you're bringing in 72 cents. That's going to be around, somewhere slightly less than 20, but on the Royd, it's really good. Like this is a good credit. But then again, you're going to get a good credit when you're selling a credit at support with 69% implied volatility, right?
Absolutely.
But credit looks really, really good. Bull put, bull call, spread play, dealer's choice on that side of the equation, I think. But I think I do prefer the credit here.
Yeah.
Frankie, what about you? Would you prefer the credit here, or would you prefer the bull call spread?
I think today I would prefer the credit. The simple reality is everybody has anchors, and probably my biggest anchor is the 9 weekly, right? And if you can get credit underneath that in a good pattern, it's very, very tempting. So I would probably lean to that. Now, if we were to get that inside candle tomorrow, right? So if we did get that,
I could be convinced to sell a credit to buy a debit.
I could be convinced to use that to buy a debit.
Should we go sell some credits to fund some out of the money call fund?
I don't dislike the philosophy. I do think that would be very constructive if you're thinking this from a more directional perspective, because it would, like you said, the trend lines up. I always, ask for one more bar. I mean, people probably get tired of me saying, give me an inside bar tomorrow, because I say that a lot.
Frankie, if you don't have that inside bar, I'm sorry, you're triggering under resistance, or you're triggering after a big volatility move. And so whether or not like people are like, oh, you always say that. Well, we say it when the analysis dictates it. When the analysis calls for an inside bar, you can't force your willpower on the market. The market doesn't know who you are. The market doesn't care who you are. And if you're going to try to force your willpower on the market, I know a lot of dudes that are going to gladly teach you valuable lessons in the market. and so no, it's when the analysis calls for it, it calls for it. It doesn't matter what you want to do right this very second. It's a matter of what the data calls for.
Yep.
And what the data calls for on the directional side of the equation, You're talking to three Delta dogs here, and we're all saying it's a credit worthy right now because it needs one more inside bar to clean up that mess from today. And so that's not abnormal. The volatility
No,
mess happens. You got to clean it up, and then you got a little bit better technical story. I'm not trying to discount the technical story here. The technical story here is pretty compelling in general.
listen, it's not outrageous to ask for an inside bar. You're not asking for an inside
No,
month.
no,
So
no, no. All right. So, Bobby, do you have anything left to add to your analysis on the Micron bull put spread?
No, I think it's a
Love the pick.
I like it, love it.
All right. So, round one, we got a Walmart trade on the directional side of the equation from Coach Frank. We got a bull put spread from Coach Bobby talking about bringing in a little bit of credit. Tomorrow, that could be a little bit of funding some Delta. We'll have to wait and see on that side of the equation. Team, let us know which one you prefer the most. You might love them both. I certainly like them both. They're both really, really good trades, in my opinion. But which one do you prefer? And I'm going to go to Coach Frankie. Frankie, which one do you prefer here after the totality of conversation?
you know, I'm going to stick with Walmart for two reasons. One, as you mentioned, in my heart, I'm a Delta dog, right? I can't look past that Micron credit and get that 9 weekly. That is very appealing.
It,
There's no doubt
you can get a
about
lot
it.
of range. I mean, you're talking 30 points on that right now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I can't not see that. So, like, I totally get that side of it. But you know me, all things being equal, I'm usually gonna, go sniff out the Delta, right? And two, uh, Micron and I don't have the best relationship, so you don't really want me around. so,
I can
so
attest to this.
Micron is just one of those stocks that, Micron, Zoom, those two stocks, no matter what they look like, no matter how many times it's the same pattern I've seen a million times on other stocks, seems like for whatever reason,
Mhm.
they have my number. So it's personal, my second reason, but I'll stick with Walmart for those two reasons.
Bobby,
You know, it's tough.
I
For
know
me,
you're
it's
thinking
hard.
Walmart before we got on here today.
I was, Walmart was one of the ones that was eyeing today. I probably would go Walmart as well, and the reason being, it's just you can't beat the pattern. Micron definitely has a good pattern. If you want to bring in some credit, Micron is definitely a good choice. But Walmart, like you said, that candle last week just it told the story, and I just think that you have another leg up here.
Stouffer, 1000% agree on that.
Yep.
Yeah, if I had a pick here, I agree with what Mark said in chat. Mark says in chat, I will officially vote for Walmart just because it feels like a moment for Walmart. And it kind of does feel like a moment for Walmart. Environment, cost, affordability crisis, macro news, labor news, and regardless of whatever happens economically, like the end of the world could happen economically.
And we're
People
still
could
shopping at Walmart.
literally be like, I don't want to go too dark there. So I was trying to think, okay, what do I say here? I don't want to go too dark there. Um, I didn't want to get that kind of be like, what are these dudes talking about? But my point is, you could be going through like the greatest of great depressions, and people are still going to be at Walmart spending money. People who hate shopping at Walmart historically, the elites of the world, I'm going to go get me some Whole Foods. Like I'm going to eat right. I'm going to do all that. Guess what? In economically tough times, like we're going through right now, 70% of America's paycheck to paycheck and affordability crisis right now. Guess what those dudes and gals like to do in a recession? I'm not saying we're in one. I'm saying we're having some tough economic situations. They buy stuff from Walmart.
They gotta eat.
Everybody goes to Walmart. So I kind of feel like Walmart's having a little bit of a moment here too. I like the breakout, and this is this. I mean, honestly, if you like the breakout and you miss the breakout, you got to try to hit that next secondary trigger. And whether you like it or not, due to the volatility, this is that next secondary trigger. So I'm gonna have to go with Walmart as well. But I like the idea of using the credit to fund the debit there. All righty then. Looks like Walmart took round one here, Bobby. Frankie. Frankie, you went first round one, Bobby. You're going first round two.
Yeah, let's see if I can, take this round here.
I know your
I'm gonna
stock. It's most likely getting my vote.
well, I'm gonna go to the
Frankie's
energy
got to
side
sell
of
me.
things. Absolutely. So I'm gonna go to the energy side of things, and I'm gonna choose MPC here.
Tell
I
me.
just think, right now this pattern here, this is like a king's bed pattern. I just think, MPC, with the news. I mean, when we were in pre-production, we seen a little bit of news out of the Russia oil. I think anything could happen with this, any type of volatility. I think, it could catch a news headline and, go up tomorrow. Now, I will say there's one thing with the stock is that you do have earnings coming up, I think on November 4th.
Yeah.
So you kind of hope that it does something sooner rather than later, just because,
Yeah.
you
Get
do
about
have
the 20
earnings.
period tomorrow. Go.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get that confirmation of the 20 period. I mean, you're good to go. MPC has treated me well in the past and treated me well just on debit plays alone. So if you look, this weekly chart's even a better look.
I
It's
love
Beautiful.
this weekly chart, to be honest.
yeah,
With you. Like
It's beautiful.
text, book, principle of polarity, old resistance, new support. Like it's a good look, technically, no
It's a
doubt.
great look. Yeah.
I mean, it looks like Walmart on the weekly. Got the support.
Kind of does, actually.
So yeah, just on FPC here, if it gets over that 20, gets that confirmation, I'm looking just a quick little debit spread here, a fixed risk play. Just because, like I said, anything with the news on this one, it could go up, you can go screaming high or it can go screaming low. It just depends. So I'm liking a bull call spread here, maybe at the 95 200.
How many days out?
Um,
I think you only
see
go
it.
30 because of earnings.
Yeah, another thing
Yeah,
on this I
probably.
was looking at, there's no weekly, so you're going to get a little bit of a wide bid-ask spread here, which I'm noticing. So it's
Yeah,
better to
especially after
maybe
hours.
do
It'll
It
tighten up.
will.
Yeah.
I know
It'll tighten
MPC
up.
will. It will tighten up during tomorrow's trading session.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that gives you a reason to wait for confirmation. So I would probably I would price out the November 21st here just to see if I'm doing more of a risk, a fixed risk play.
I
But
think if you're doing that, brother, I think it's like 190 by 200.
190 by 200 is exactly where my head
I
was.
think you're
Yeah.
just playing the 10-point range there.
Yeah, it's just more pricing out. So yeah, if I would go out, an extra month, like maybe December, I would price out the 95 200. But if I did November, I would do 190 195. So
You want to keep that closest to like a net delta of 25.
yeah,
So when like in a bull call spread, a standard bull call spread is you buy an at the money call option with the closest to a 0.50 delta, and you want to sell an out of the money call option right around your target, some degree of target, some degree of resistance, which allows you to keep a net delta of about 25%. So you're lowering your cost by quite a bit, quite
yeah,
frankly, and you're trying to capture a totality of about 25 to 30% of the price movement in the
yeah,
option.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's good trade here. I really like the technical setup on the stop loss here, Bobby, because it's a spread. Are you going to position size to risk? Are you going to use a stop loss? What's the game plan on the management side?
A lot of times when I do like a spread trade, I'm mostly my stop loss is fixed to risk.
Yeah.
But if I was to put a stop loss in, because I mean, a lot of times people have to put a stop loss in, and that's fair. If I was to put one in, I would probably put one in under today's candle. Try to get below your, I mean,
50.
you're below that 50, and then anything above that 200, that 20 for an entry. I mean, I think you're in a great zone. Now, for me on the stop loss, I would be a little bit more aggressive just because you do have earnings right around the corner. So if it does go up and fake out, I don't want to take the full risk, especially if I have a stop loss there. So I would be.
So you'll be a little aggressive on management and primarily due to earnings. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, just take some risk off, especially if I don't get the candle I want tomorrow and if I get in or the next day. So just, I don't want to lose the full risk if I have my stop loss, but I do want to just make sure that, I'm protecting my capital as much as possible.
I love this trade setup.
Yeah, I very much like the setup. It's very
Yeah,
nice.
I wish earnings was in 4 months from now. We could talk position trade here.
Yeah,
I still might talk position trade here, but you do get the point. Earnings is right around the corner, but that 180 support zone, I I I don't want to say it's the best multi-time frame support zone, but it is a very
It's a
clean,
very
very
good
good
level.
one.
It's a
Like
very good
Very,
level.
very
very
clean.
much so.
Yeah, it's
Love the
beautiful.
pick there, Bobby. Frankie, round two.
Round
What do you
two.
come with? How you going to beat Bobby?
Listen, I'm gonna beat Bobby with the fragrance destination, Macy's. Uh,
Um,
I not every day
Good
that you
luck.
say that. It's not every day that you say that, but I think you can make an argument for Macy's here. So you just
That's
got a little
true.
breakout here on the daily chart, right? This is going to be a three-pronged tail, though. Right. As you look at things from a longer term perspective, we're already kind of moving and shaking. Right. We've already kind of won some
I'd consider
battles.
that mid-tier on the weekly.
Yeah, I think you would consider it
Yeah.
mid-tier on the weekly. You just have a pretty clear path into the next level is in the general vicinity of the $21 level, right? The $21 give or take. You've just punctured through the 200 on the weekly. That's always a beautiful thing. You've got plenty of room to run on this guy now. Much like Walmart, it's kind of got the Thanksgiving-ish time for earnings. So while his MPC is like it's kind of normal, right? Most things have their earnings next week or the week after if they haven't had them yet. Macy's is like Walmart, where they're towards the end of the
They're in
month
retail
here.
week.
They're in retail week. So I think we have time to get up into that 21 level. And I think that's probably, the level that you're kind of looking at, which isn't a huge move, but at the same time, it's Macy's. It's at $18.50 stock. So it doesn't have to be some monster mover. So I don't think you have to get too crazy here.
No,
I think it triggered here today. So over
you too.
today's high is good enough for me with the target at that 21 level. And again, I'd just probably go 20 by 21 and just work the dollars here for targets. But 21 is kind of the window that I'm looking at.
Mhm.
And a stop loss, I think you could go under today's low, but I would argue to dip down, grab that 9 EMA, get below the breakout
Right
channel,
underneath 18.
get below today, get below the breakout channel. If you come in and get that 9 working for you, that's always going to feel good. That's right at that $18 level, as you pointed out. We can raise it up as it goes, right? And I think you give it just a little bit of wiggle room, not a lot. I wouldn't give it a whole lot more than that, because one, if it goes too much lower than that, I worry it's a fake out, and two, even if it's not, it gets to be the end of November really quick in that scenario, right? And
Yeah.
so all of a sudden, its earnings are right around the corner. So I think you're just kind of playing the momentum. This has been a really good week and a half of price action, in my opinion, on Macy's. You're coming into a really great spot on that mid tier where you have some room to run, right? If earnings weren't a thing, and they are, much to my chagrin, I think we could be talking position trades and be talking much higher, but they are. So we're talking a
Yeah.
swing trade, we're talking a window fill, we're talking $21. I think risk to reward in and of itself is going to be right around 3-1, so not a terrible risk to reward ratio. And sometimes the risk to reward ratio forces your hand. It's like that risk to reward ratio is too good. The pattern lines up. I got to take a shot, and I think maybe this is that type of a scenario for me.
Really good technical setup, really clean setup, and you can certainly see the path to 21 here. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. I agree with you that plenty of time in front of earnings, but I'm not sure enough time to really kind of consider a position trade unless
Yeah.
you're planning on locking risk graphs down during earnings and
Yeah, and
whatnot,
it's
which you don't typically have to do on Macy's, but there have been a couple earnings
There've
where
been a
they
few
got
times.
smoked.
Yeah, there've been a
So
few.
that's in the back of your mind. You are thinking about that. Um, Bobby, what's your thoughts on Macy's here?
I think it's a good looking breakout here. I have nothing to comment. I think Frank hit it on the nail. It's confirmed today, and I think
Well, and
he's
finish your
playing.
thought, Bobby.
No, I was just saying I think it confirmed today, and I think it's could have another leg higher.
Just add one point here, Frankie. The story of momentum being told through MACD,
Yeah, sure.
it's one of understanding that when it's under the histogram, there's not a bullish part of that analysis, in my opinion. it's either the Bears gaining momentum or the Bears losing momentum. It has nothing to do with the Bulls until the Bulls get above zero on the histogram. And if that confirms tomorrow, it's already confirmed, but if you get your trigger tomorrow, that'll be day one on the hook,
Yep.
on the cross. Like MACD will cross tomorrow on that confirmation candle on your order. And so that would be a good look on MACD too, getting that hook, getting that, it's already got the hook, get that cross, get
Cross.
above the histogram, see that momentum. That would be the first time Bulls had any momentum in this pattern, and it's going into the breakout. That's a pretty good look. RSI is confirming it because RSI confirms everything in neutrality, quite frankly. Um,
Fair.
but good pick nonetheless. Uh, Frankie, which one would you go with if you had you have two picks? You got a window fill on Macy's swing trade. You got a developing. I don't even want to say developing. It looks like it's confirming here today on MPC. The King's bed
Yeah, I got
that
King's
is
bet
kind of
NPC.
starting to
Yeah.
rock. Bull call spread. I think you can do a lot of different strategies. Honestly, I do like the bull call out. But which one do you prefer?
It's tough. Like the biggest drawback on MPC has
Same
nothing to do with
question, team.
MPC and has all to do with the time that you have,
Yeah.
right, on earnings. So the tiebreaker, time tiebreaker, it's got to go to Macy's. But the weekly chart, I mean, the weekly chart in my eyes is pretty nice on Macy's, but the weekly chart on MPC is really, really nice. So
It's really
if I
nice.
gotta pick, I'll probably side with MPC if I had to pick.
Plus, we all have more experience on MPC and thus a little bit more confidence on MPC than Macy's, I would
Yeah, I
say.
mean, we talked about that breakout when it originally happened, right? So this is just another pattern off of that one. So I would have to vote for MPC. No really knock on you, Macy's, but that weekly is just like, I mean, that's a beautiful, that's a Cody special on the weekly. Snap back to breakout channel, inside bar at the bottom, upward movement of price. Hard to get better than that for that pattern.
It looks pretty good. It does look
Yeah.
pretty good, especially on that weekly chart. Bobby, final thought. Would you still stay with MPC or are you switching to Macy's?
I would stay with MPC, and the main reason is this weekly
MPC is mine
chart.
too. I prefer MPC a little bit
It's
too.
a
Yeah,
beautiful weekly, right?
like Frank was mentioned, this is pretty much a Cody special on the weekly. Cody specials have been good to me in the past. Looking at a lot of my
That bad
trade
Cody
journal
special,
data.
drill that resistance level, reassess
Yeah.
it as a new support level, and giddy up. Yeah.
Absolutely. So there's,
That's
like I
right.
said, this is just a nice pattern, and MPC has been good to me in the past.
Well, gentlemen, really appreciate your deep analysis on all things MPC, also Macy's, and all of the picks you guys had here today. What was your favorite of the all four? Let's go with Frankie. If you could only pick one of the four in
Yeah, now there could be
general,
only one. It would
which
be
one would
Walmart for me.
it be?
I mean, I
Walmart.
do love MPC, but I trust Walmart more if that makes any sense whatsoever. So I would still lean to the Walmart in my favorite of the bunch.
Bobby, same question.
This is the hardest question. I hate
Yeah, they're all four
I
good.
have to pick one out of four. They're all
They're all
good.
four good.
I'm gonna side with Frank on Walmart as well. You don't have that earnings,
I think it would
lingering
be
ahead.
three. I think I prefer the Walmart one as well. I like the MPC one, but it's Walmart. I think there's something brewing a little bit. We'll have to wait and see on that one, but I like it too. I like it too. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for constantly bringing your A game here in Trade Masters. And at Tackle Trading, we love talking trading. We love talking picks. We love trading, but we tackle trading really we like to teach as we do all that.
Yeah.
uh, there's a philosophy we embrace at Tackle. Education plus application is the key to success. And whether or not you're in Master Trader, or whether or not you're in the lounge, or whether or not you're in the coaches show, the cash flow club, any of our mastermind groups, you read that, you read what I would consider one of the better newsletters in the entire industry, in my opinion. That
Oh,
thing is rock
absolutely.
solid. And I,
100%.
I do write a lot of it, so take it with a grain of salt, but I will back that up. I think it's a wonderful newsletter. I hope everybody gets a lot of value out of it. But even in the newsletter, I tried to educate as I analyze the landscape and as I give projections and as I anchor to levels and talk about the pattern and the trend and the key levels of support and resistance and where it should be going and what our mindset is going into this week and so on and so forth. And so if you love education, you love application, you are going to love tackle trading because we do a healthy dose of all of that every single day with our community. And so if you are looking for an amazing community to call home that you can grow with, that you can learn how to trade from, you can sit in some of the best classes you will ever get. And by the way, we call that pro membership. You can get a free trial here today. Come test it out. We're posting the latest edition of the newsletter and the Traders Report on Friday, as we do every Friday. Tomorrow morning, we'll be in the Traders Lounge with our team breaking down all the major earnings. By the way, Tesla came out tonight. They did not inspire. They lukewarm, came in line. Let's see what Elon has to say. We're going to break that down as a team tomorrow. And we're not just going to break down what the earnings is. We're going to talk about the trend, the pattern, support, resistance, what to expect next on Tesla. Is there a good trade? What to wait for? And we do that on everything in the market. You need help every day. You want to get a second opinion on a trade idea? Just pop into the lounge, ask one of the coaches. They'll break it down live right there in front of you and answer every single one of your questions. And so if you're looking for that level of quality, come over to Tackle Trading, join us with a free trial membership, get in the lounge, enjoy the coaches show, read the newsletter, the Traders Report, and the other 14, 15 different things we put into that pro membership. And with that said, if you love Trade Masters, hit the like, tell somebody about it, share it with somebody else on social media, and I hope everybody has a blessed and wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for being the best part of Tackle Trading. Thank you for hanging out with us today in Trade Masters, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.